Hello and welcome to part 3 of this mini-series that is all around the etheric body, this beautiful light body that we are gifted with as humans. And I'm so excited that you are here to explore this beautiful gift of this light body, this etheric field with me. So let me just recap. In part 1, we have talked about what the etheric body actually is. Like, what is the light body? What does it consist of? What does it comprise? What does it actually mean? And some of the implications as well, if you will. All of these free video training parts, they are all here on YouTube and they're linked below. And I will also put up a link up there if it's possible later on. So in part 3, in the previous video that aired yesterday, what we talked about was, why is it actually so important that we look into our etheric body? Why is it so important that we pay attention to it? And not only that, but why is it so important that we get clear of some of the things that can happen with or to our etheric body that can potentially be hijacked, manipulated, or taken advantage of from outside energy sources, whatever you want to call it, okay? And really, why is it so important at this point, especially to start looking into how to strengthen and expand and build your etheric body. And this is the part 2, and now we are moving into part 3, in which I will be giving you some foundational tools and things and practices to do, via which you can actually start to build your etheric body, okay? And if you would like to dive into more deeper practices with me that nourish, build, and strengthen your etheric body from a very deep level on a more advanced way, then look into the two new courses that I have down below. One is Moon Magic, which is harnessing the ancient wisdom of the Toltecs and their very specific practices on how to harness the moon and do a lot of things with this moon energy. That includes healing, clearing, cleansing, purification, but also so that you can use this for manifestation and creation and build your light body. Actually, one of the most amazing benefits of this moon, of this specific type of moon work, is that it strengthens your etheric body on a very deep level. To date, I have not really found anything else for me personally that gives me so much life force and prana than these practices. I will also be bringing out a course about the sun very soon and how to use that. But for now, the moon practices are down below, and also the emotional body, which is all contained in Freedom Codes, which is my new course, which is available for a quarter of the actual price. It is a 12-module course, and it's on for a really, really special discount intro offer right now. So jumping right in, I want to give you a really sound foundation of what you can start doing to start building and start expanding your light body, okay? And some of these are things that you might already have heard. If you kind of like more of a newbie in this field, then maybe this is new to you, okay? And then I will also explain a few more advanced techniques too at the end. So before we jump right in, I just want to say I am doing a giveaway every 15th of the month, in which you can win a full entire session of my signature course, Goddess Alchemy. That is, each session is worth $150, and you can get one entire module. And all that you have to do is subscribe below, hit the bell button so that you can get a notification when I upload more videos, and also like and comment underneath this video. Jumping in to how to expand and build and nourish your light body. Well, the most important thing is that before we maybe even start to look into how we can build and expand it, which might be a little more of the kind of like more advanced stuff, is how can we actually clear our light body. Okay, so a lot of people already do some work around the chakras, they do energy healings, they do energy clearing. That can be a really good start to get a better handle on the level of congruency and integrity of your etheric body. Okay, so that is one thing that you can do actually to start working with the light body, with the etheric body in a more profound way. And some of you guys who will be watching this are already doing that. So I can only encourage you to keep doing that. Maybe even look into this more, or kind of like move on to the more advanced techniques as well. So it is very important to clear our energy, to cleanse our field. Okay, so if you're not really familiar with working with the chakras, how to cleanse them, how to clear them, I'm not going to go into all of this because, you know, cleansing and clearing and all of that kind of stuff, there's a few things you need to know around it, and it's kind of like a little bit beyond the scope. But one super easy way that you can use on how to clear and cleanse, or start clearing and cleansing your etheric body, is using salt. And you can do salt bath, maybe Epsom salt, maybe sea salt, for example. And you can do maybe a cup or two, or however you want to use. You can use that and put it into your bath water, maybe a few essential oils. And the salt has a very cleansing and a very purifying nature to it. I know that a lot of people who work a lot with energy and who are super fuzzy about their own light body and their etheric field, some of them, they say that they take an Epsom salt bath or a sea salt bath every single day, maybe at night, because we accumulate energies from other people, from events, from stress, from circumstances, and they kind of like bog down a little bit our light body. And so we can do this salt bath, and not only just to relax and rejuvenate, but really also to cleanse the etheric body. And that is something that I have worked with personally a lot, and I really like that technique, and that is really accessible to most people. The only thing that you need is a bathtub at home. If you don't have one, you can even do that and just make a foot bath and use Epsom salt and essential oils or sea salt in that, and that can be really drawing as well. But that is a very, very easy technique, and I know that a lot of beginners, quote unquote beginners in this whole thing, use it, and even a lot of super advanced people I know who are very well versed with energy work, that just use it as a beautiful, almost like a passive tool to cleanse their etheric body, their light body. Okay, and you may already do that, and if not, I highly recommend that. So the other thing that really flows into our energy, that really influences our energy a lot, and that is something, again, that you may be aware of or not, but it is the food that we take in. There has been a huge movement into a more holistic, a more healthy lifestyle, and a lot of promotion of organic foods, pesticide-free foods, meat and dairy and eggs and butter and all of these kind of things that are raised in a more organic way, with all of these chemicals, without all of these antibiotics and whatnot. And that is definitely something that you probably would be well advised to look at if you like still on a regular diet and you eat a lot of processed food. So that is really something that I want to include as well. There's no need to go totally overboard if you feel overwhelmed by, oh my god, what should I do? It is really about becoming more conscious what we put into our body, and really freeing our energies from all of that gunk that comes on top. Because the thing is that when we overwhelm our body with so many chemicals and so many toxins and pollutants, then this will have a huge effect on our etheric body. Okay, it is not the only effect, but it's definitely a huge effect. And the other thing that I want to mention is, I know there's a lot of talk about veganism and vegetarian and all of that kind of stuff. Personally, I have my own take on it, and I have my own diet that suits me very, very well. It's a very clean diet, it's a very light diet that I consume. And the topic of diet, I don't want to go too deep into it because, like, honestly, it is such a huge topic and there's so many different opinions, and there's also a lot of marketing that goes into all of that, where people's opinion are a lot in kind of like influenced by marketing, and there are also like these diet wars out there, which I don't want to have anything to do with. I know what for me personally is the most ideal diet, and what I can say from working with myself on this spectrum for over 10 years, if not longer, and also a lot with clients and colleagues who are also very well versed in the whole health field. You know, if you know me, I have a background in health coaching, in well-being coaching, longevity coaching. It is very important that we start looking at our diet, and we can always improve, and we don't always have to super restrict ourselves if we feel overwhelmed again. But one thing that I do want to mention is that when we consume a lot of animal products, especially those who are conventionally raised and processed, then that will have quite a bit of a negative effect on our energy. Okay, that has to do with a lot of things that I don't want to go into right now. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not, especially if you're new to the whole thing. It is definitely possible to eat meat and still have a good and higher vibration and start working on your light body. You don't have to be vegetarian or vegan, but maybe it would be a good point where you could start like cutting down your meat and animal product consumption a little bit, and maybe you reduce it to once a day or just twice a week, or whatever suits you. Everyone, and again, I really want to stress this, everyone is so different, especially with diet and nutrients and requirements, that this is really, I can only keep this video around this topic very general, or this aspect of this video very general. But I really do want to speak about that. Also, when we consume animal products where the animal is not raised in a natural, holistic way that really caters to the innate nature of this animal, and if there's harm done and, you know, a lot of like small caging and all of that kind of stuff, just know that everything that you consume, the energy of what you consume, you also consume and take into your body, and that will manifest, that will also go into your light body, into your etheric body. Okay, so just have a little bit more of a maybe of an intentional way to use this. Again, I could talk hours about this, but I want to keep this aspect of the video short because there's so much to it. Just, you know, try to, if you're serious about, you know, really clearing your light body, then maybe take it easy on heavy foods, on processed foods, on anything that is non-organic, on everything that is conventionally raised, and really focus more on fresh, healthy fruit and vegetables. There are even a lot of beautiful edible seaweed that are super high vibrational. And that's just what I want to say, like really vegetables are super high on the energetic frequency scale. Even higher is things like fruit, especially organic fruit, and then even higher is water, if it's good clean water that is non-contaminated. Okay, so you see that we have a lot of vantage point that we can use to access the whole thing. This is just a small spectrum. Okay, the other thing via which you can really start and clear your etheric body is with meditation. Most of the people who will watch this video already do meditation to some degree, and you know, you're probably familiar with that, and you know, really start to do the inner work, do the relaxation work, and do the meditation work, and that will help make your energetic field, your etheric body, more congruent. Okay, that is something that is very, very, very important. Now, I want to sneak into this video a few things that are maybe not so much known, okay, and maybe not so much talked about as well. So when we one way via which we can really fill and expand and build our etheric body is through positive pleasure. Okay, pleasure in our society has a lot of negative connotations a lot of the times, because sometimes it's looked at sleazy or selfish or not clean or pure or whatever. But if pleasure comes from a really beautiful high vibrational state, pleasure is a very beautiful thing. It's a very positive, bliss inducing, bliss filled energy that is inevitably going to positively charge and load and expand and build your etheric body. So really use pleasure in whichever form it may come, and pleasure can be as simple as eating a beautiful piece of fruit, maybe straight from the tree, maybe a beautiful juicy sweet fig, and really eat it with pleasure, with presence, with awareness, and really enjoy this process. Okay, that is something that is so important, and a lot of people just forget that. That is something super easy. Then obviously, like the more physical pleasure in sensuality and sexuality, that is something that we can really use to fill up our light body. That is not often talked about, and the sensuality aspect is something that has been really neglected in this whole topic as well. Okay, because no one really wants to talk about it. Well, now actually it's getting better and better and better, but people are not so cut off from their pleasure sensors and from their sensuality anymore, okay, as they used to be, because in the old negatively oriented patriarchal difficult word structures, we've been really cut off from our sense of God state, from our sense of pleasure, from our sense of empowerment, okay, and divinity within. And sensuality and this pleasure is part of our divinity, okay, it is a big part of it, and we need to reclaim that. So via doing these pleasure practices, sensuality, however this may look for you, whether it goes more into like enjoying food or a good, I don't know, like making your environment cozy and drawing a lot of pleasure from that, or if it's more kind of like oriented in the field of sexuality, this is really something to connect more deeply with if we want to have like just one of the many options to really fill up our light body, okay. And there is more advanced techniques in this sensuality spectrum as well that I go into in some of my modules in my Goddess Alchemy course, and I might, you know, be bringing out more of that kind of stuff in different formats, and I might make potentially also make more videos about this. But there are more advanced techniques as well, how you can use this pleasure and sensuality in these bliss-inducing states where you really connect in this way with divinity, and really via that create a lot of pure, beautiful energy, and thereby actually really nourishing and building your light body, okay. And yeah, lastly, I also want to mention that there are a lot of energy work techniques that I've been teaching for a while, and then also some of the even more advanced ones more recently, where you can really fill your light body in this beautiful specific way that is super nourishing, and that you can use on an active level but also on a passive level, to really fill your light body and really work with the energy of the moon. I have spoken a little bit about moon magic already. If you want to have more advanced techniques that are really proven by the ancient Toltecs, because they are the ones who've been passing them down, and they have been in secret for a long time, but now they are more coming to the kind of like starting at least to come a little bit more to the public. That is probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but they start to become more available to us now, and we actually need those now more than ever. And I have made such profound changes and transformation in my own energetic field through these moon practices from the ancient Toltecs, that I really do want to mention them in this video again, because they are so profoundly powerful. And everything that I have, everyone who have been teaching these practices, everyone who's working with them, they have made really, really amazing progress within their energetic maturity, their energetic level, and their light field and light body, if they consistently use these practices. It's not going to happen just with one time. You might feel it, but it takes usually a little bit longer, and it takes consistent work a little bit. But with everything, like, no matter what you do, you need to do things consistently, okay? There are very few things that actually make a huge difference by just doing them once. And the amazing celestial bodies that we have, these forces of the galaxies and the cosmos, they are huge, huge, huge allies that we can use to work with cleansing, purifying, and building and expanding our light bodies, and also throw everything out that doesn't belong there. And that is something that I can really, really highly recommend, because everyone really loves them, and I've heard so many good things from the people that I've taught them to. And so that is something that you can learn in Moon Magic, which is a course that I'm offering, and the link is below in the description box. Then I want to mention another way and another technique via which you can directly feed positive energy to your etheric body, to this beautiful energetic matrix that you have around you. And that is the inner work, the inner expansive work that you do. And that work has a lot to do with your emotions. Now, it's taken me a long time to really get this right, to really get it right in a way where this inner work on an emotional level, this inner energetic and emotional alchemy is really, really high vibrational and really serves me, because there are different angles that we often hear that maybe scratch the surface a little, but don't really actually give us this emotional mastery that we actually need. Some of the practices are confusing that I have learned over the years, and I've really weeded out everything that is not really serving the highest light, if you will, or that can be confusing, and I've really distilled it for me personally. And what I have realized, and what I've seen really in other people as well, is that when we have a true mastery of our emotions, that is one of the fastest ways into ascension. That is one of the fastest ways into raising our frequency, raising our vibration, and then also building our auric field, building our light body, and then ultimately the etheric body as well, okay? And again, I think I've mentioned it in one of the previous videos, sometimes I just see people do energy work, and I mean, you know that I love energy work. It is incredibly, phenomenally powerful. But if you just focus, say, just like on the chakras, you can get a lot of stuff done and out and cleansed and cleared and built up and whatnot. But if you still have a lot of emotional stuff going on, then you're probably not exactly getting where you want to be, which is really truly raising your vibration, really truly preparing or actually going through ascension, and really actually being on this ascension cycle and being able to anchor into 5D and the golden age, new earth, kind of like etherics. Okay, so that is something that I have seen over and over and over again, that people kind of like do all of this work, but they barely manage to stay afloat. It's kind of like a bit like this dog who kind of like paddles in the water, not really knowing where he's going and not really knowing what he's doing and not really getting anywhere with it. Okay, so emotional work is really important. It is important that you know how to manage your emotions so that you can use them in a very, very beneficial way, instead of a very potentially detrimental way that isn't serving you either subtly or even like in more deeper ways, where then you build up so much negative emotional energy that things manifest in your life that you don't really want. Okay, and this is why I feel the emotional mastery aspect of it is something that is still not addressed properly in a lot of spiritual circles, in a lot of spiritual communities, and especially in a lot of the new age spirituality that we see out there. That is just something that I'm not here to judge that, but it is something that I have made quite a few experiences with, and I really don't want anyone who works with me to having to go through these in the depths that I had to go through these. So I really want people to know that your emotions are also super important. So work on energetic and emotional alchemy. Work on your energetic mastery. Okay, because when we become holistically harmonious in our being, only then can our true light body and etheric body really evolve, like, and you know, the angel wings grow, if you will, if you want to kind of like use that metaphor or that kind of like perspective. Okay, so we need to be emotionally really sound, and that probably doesn't mean what most people think it means. Okay, it really means we need to integrate emotions. We need to integrate emotions, and it is, I mean, there are so many beautiful practices that you can do around that. And again, I have done a course on that. I've put together a course on that. It's called Freedom Codes. It's available for only 1/4 actually, like a tiny fraction of the actual price. It's a phenomenal course, and you can sign up with the intro discount right now or later. It doesn't matter. But it is really everything that I have learned in terms of energetic emotional alchemy and mastery. And trust me, I have been diving deep into this topic. And from my own experience, and also from everyone who's achieved this level of mastery, quote unquote, I mean, we will always, it's not like, oh, I need to get to this point. I mean, you can see it as that, but I mean, we always progress. There's always more that we can do, or higher that we can get with this. Okay, so it's not, I'm not saying like, oh yeah, like I'm a master in this or anything like that, but I've really learned my fair share on this because I've studied this topic so deeply in so many ways from so many angles. So I really do feel like I have come to the point where I can really share in a deep way about this and help people very profoundly, actually, when they're willing to do this type of work. And I've really seen in so many people that the emotional mastery part can really get you to a lot of places, not just in terms of creating the life that you desire and manifesting what you desire and really live a really harmonious life, but really also building your light body. So that is something that is not so often talked about, that, and it for ascension, for anchoring ourselves in 5D and to actually live in 5D and embody the 5D templates and really be immersed in the 5D dimensional energy, we need to have this emotional mastery. Otherwise we can't even reach this dimension, or not for long. Okay, and that is something that, you know, is probably convincing you to maybe look a little bit more into emotional mastery in whichever way you want to do it. Okay, and if you do want to go down the route with Freedom Codes, that is my emotional mastery course, and I will link it down below. So the other practices that you could do around really clearing and strengthening your light body is spending a lot of time out in nature. Now, for the past decade and actually longer, I have optimized my lifestyle more and more and more and more. There's so many things that you can do. Like, I couldn't even fit it into this video, but one of the most profound things is really being in water, in natural water. Being out in nature is like phenomenal, and then being out in natural water is even like, that is to me the cream of the crop. Like, if you can bathe in the sea, or if you can swim in a lake, ideally unpolluted, and natural and all of that, if you can really immerse yourself in this natural water, that is something that is extremely cleansing, extremely purifying, and in doing that, it will also build your light body to a degree that you might not have experienced before. And I'm just going to give you a little story. I love to spend my, at least a part of my summer, at least a few weeks in Sweden. And where I go is like I have family who lives there, and I usually visit them, and they live a little bit off the beaten path. They live outside of the city, just like in a small hamlet. And there are lakes nearby that you can swim in, and they're natural, they're not man-made, and the air is pure. There's barely any traffic, there's barely any noise. It is very serene, very pure, very beautiful. And what I love to do there is just spend my days swimming in the lakes, even like in the evening. And even I do a lot of healing work and a lot of energy work whilst swimming in the lake or whilst being by the lake as well. And that is one of the most clearing purification practices in terms of that you can do with the etheric body that I have found as well, apart from what I teach in Moon Magic and in Freedom Codes. And that is something that I hope that you can make an effort to commit doing or commit prioritizing, even if you maybe live in a busy city. I used to live in London. I even lived in Barcelona for a time. I even lived in Tokyo, and I'm very energetically sensitive, so I know how it feels to be really bogged down by all of that psychic noise that goes on in big cities. And I know how important the nature time is. So if you do, or even like if you work in a busy office with a lot of electrosmog, a lot of EMFs, a lot of artificial light, really make it a habit maybe at the weekends to go out in nature, even if it's just like for a small walk. Or again, if you have access to a natural body of water that it is safe to swim in. So please don't go into any rivers with weird swirls and currents and stuff. But if you have a natural body of water that it is safe to bathe in, and to swim in, then that is an excellent ally for you to cleanse, purify, and also ultimately build and expand your light body. Okay, that is just like a little nature hack that I want to share with you. Anyways, this video has been going on for quite a while because honestly, on each and every single topic that I have spoken about, I went a little bit into detail, and I could spend hours more, but let's keep it at that. There's other stuff that you can do as well. This video is by no means comprehensive, but I really wanted to give you at least a few vantage points of you being able to build your etheric body just on your own as well, without having to buy stuff or go and do courses or programs, but also giving you the option to do it via these courses that are available, but also what you can do in your daily life, really, and in nature, to really fill up this cup that needs to be nourished now more than ever. Again, I only feel, even though I've been talking for over half an hour, that I've only scratched the surface of that. And I might be doing more videos on this, so let me know if you want more on this, and if you have any questions, anything that isn't clear for you, please let me know in the comments below. And also please subscribe, like and comment if you would like to be entered into the giveaway. And you can even get more entries when you take this video or a screenshot or the link of this video and make a post or a story on social media and tag me, because this is the only way, if you tag me, that I actually know that you've shared, and you will get extra entries as well. So again, you can watch all the parts of this free mini-series on the etheric body, the foundations of it, in the section below. And yeah, if you would like to know more, do let me know. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being eager as well, hopefully, to start building your etheric body. And again, there's much more to come in this course. I really have only touched the surface. there's so much more, and I'm really excited to bring you guys more of that magic. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Sending you all of my love. Mwah.